Planning your trip to the 2026 World Cup in Dallas? Well, you're in the right place. In this guide, we're covering everything you need to know: where to stay, how to get to AT&T Stadium, your transportation strategy, and all the practical details to make your trip incredible. I've done the research so you don't have to. Let's dive in and get you ready for Dallas. So you're heading to Dallas for the World Cup in 2026. How exciting is that? And here's what you need to know. AT&T Stadium is hosting 9 matches during the tournament. That's more matches than any other stadium. And this includes some massive games. We're talking June and July, peak Texas summer. AT&T Stadium is one of the most impressive venues in the world. Locals call it Jerry World, after Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, who built this place to be bigger and better than everything else. And he succeeded. It holds over 80,000 people, has a retractable roof, a massive video board, and it's built to be pure spectacle. The scale is pure Texas, as they say. And I'm Scott. My sons and I love traveling to sporting events together, and we're planning our own World Cup adventure in 2026. Building these guides is part of that journey. I want to make sure we all have an incredible time, and I'm excited to help you make 2026 unforgettable too. All right, let's get into the details and get you ready for this adventure. Before we talk about hotels or anything else, we need to address the elephant in the room. AT&T Stadium is not in Dallas. The stadium is in Arlington, Texas. Arlington is a separate city that sits between Dallas and Fort Worth. It's about 20 miles west of downtown Dallas and about 15 miles east of downtown Fort Worth. Why does this matter? Because if you're thinking you can just hop on a subway or train to get to the stadium like you might in other cities, you're in for a big surprise. There's no effective public rail that goes directly to AT&T Stadium. None. Dallas has a light rail system called DART, but it doesn't go to Arlington. There's been talk about connecting it for years, but as of now, it's not there. So you can't rely on trains or subways to get to the matches. Your realistic options are Uber or Lyft. This works, but here's what you need to know. On match days, surge pricing is going to be brutal. A ride that normally costs $35 to $45 from downtown Dallas to the stadium could easily surge to $100 to $150 or more when 80,000 people are all trying to get there at the same time. And then you've got to get back, which means the same surge pricing again. Let's talk about rental cars. This is actually the option that makes the most sense for Dallas, and we'll talk about this in detail in a minute. But just know, Dallas is a city built for cars. Everything is spread out, distances are long, and having your own car gives you freedom and probably saves you money compared to constant Uber surges. The bottom line, factor this distance into your planning. If you're staying in Dallas, you're 20 miles from the stadium. If you're staying in Fort Worth, you're 15 miles from the stadium. If you're staying in Arlington, you can walk, but Arlington is a suburban area with not a lot going on beyond the stadium and entertainment district. This distance and lack of public transit is the single biggest logistical challenge of the Dallas trip. I'm telling you this up front so you can plan accordingly. All right, let's talk about getting to Dallas. You've got 2 main airport options: Dallas Fort Worth International Airport, DFW. This is the big one. DFW is one of the largest airports in the world, and it's the main hub for American Airlines. If you're flying internationally or from most major U.S. cities, you'll probably land here. DFW is located roughly between Dallas and Fort Worth, about 20 miles from downtown Dallas, 25 miles from downtown Fort Worth, and about 15 to 18 miles from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. It's a massive airport. It's well organized, and you'll have no trouble getting connections from anywhere in the world. Dallas Love Field is the other one. Its letters are DAL. This is the smaller, closer airport. It's only about 6 miles from downtown Dallas. Love Field is primarily a Southwest Airlines hub and handles mostly domestic flights. If you're flying from within the U.S. on Southwest, Love Field is more convenient for getting to downtown Dallas, but it's still about 20 miles from AT&T Stadium. Getting from the airport. From either airport, your options are rental car, Uber or Lyft, or shuttle services. If you're planning to rent a car, which I'm going to recommend for most people, both airports have all the major rental companies. You can pick up your car right at the airport and drive to your hotel. If you're taking an Uber from DFW to downtown Dallas, expect to pay $35 to $50. From Love Field to downtown, maybe $20 to $30. and from either airport to Arlington, figure $30 to $45. There is a DART light rail connection from both airports to downtown Dallas if you really want to save money, but if you have luggage, it's a pain. For your airport transfer, I just take an Uber or pick up your rental car. Now, let's talk about the big decision. Do you rent a car or rely on Uber? In most cities, I tell people to skip the rental car, but Dallas is different. Let me break down the math and the reality. Here's the case for renting a car. Dallas-Fort Worth is a sprawling metro area. Everything is far apart. The stadium is in a different city from where you're likely staying. There's no good public transportation. Rental car cost. You can probably find a decent car for $40 to $60 per day. Let's say $50 per day for a 3-day trip is $150 for the rental. Parking at AT&T Stadium is expensive, and we'll talk about this more in the stadium section, but figure $75 to $150 for official parking on match day, or you can risk cheaper unofficial lots. But here's what a car gives you: freedom. You can drive to Fort Worth to see the stockyards. You can go to restaurants. You can explore. You're not stuck waiting for Ubers and bleeding money on surge pricing. Total cost for 3 days with the rental car, about $350 to $450, and that's the rental car plus stadium parking plus gas. Here's the case for using only Uber. If you really don't want to drive, Uber works, but here's the reality. Normal Uber from downtown Dallas to AT&T Stadium is $35 to $45 each way. On match day, with surge pricing, that jumps to $100 to $150 each way, maybe more. Let's say you take one Uber to the stadium on match day, that's $125 surge. One back, that's another $125 surge. Then a few Ubers around Dallas-Fort Worth for dinners and sightseeing, $20 to $30 each way, so call it $150 total for 3 to 4 trips. Total cost for 3 days with Uber only, that's approximately $550 to $650. Here's my recommendation. Unless you're terrified of driving or staying right in downtown Dallas and not planning to leave, rent a car. It gives you flexibility. It's probably cheaper, and Dallas is built for driving. The roads are wide, traffic isn't as bad as you think, except right around the stadium on match day, and parking at hotels is usually free or cheap. What about DART, the light rail? DART is the light rail system in Dallas. It's cheap, $3 for a day pass. It connects downtown Dallas, Love Field Airport, and some suburbs, but it doesn't go to Arlington or the stadium. You can take DART around Dallas itself, but it won't help you on match day. Don't rely on it for getting to AT&T Stadium. Now let's talk about where to stay. In Dallas-Fort Worth, you've got several options, and each has trade-offs. This isn't like some cities where there's one obvious choice. You need to decide what matters most to you. Downtown Dallas. This is the urban high-rise hotel district. You've got the convention center, lots of hotels, restaurants, bars, and it's where a lot of business travelers stay. During the tournament, downtown Dallas will likely host fan festivals and have a lot of energy. It's also where you'll find the most international hotel chains if you want something familiar. Here's the downside. You're 20 miles from AT&T Stadium. You'll need to drive or Uber, and on match day, that distance means surge pricing or traffic. Here are the hotels in downtown Dallas. They'll probably run $150 to $300 plus per night during the tournament. It's a good choice if you want the urban experience, nightlife, and you're planning to explore Dallas proper. Uptown Dallas. This is a trendy, walkable neighborhood just north of downtown. Lots of bars, restaurants, boutique shops, and a younger crowd. It's more residential and charming than downtown, but still urban. Uptown has some good hotel options and Airbnbs. You can walk around the neighborhood for dinner and drinks, which is nice. Like downtown, you're still about 20 miles from the stadium. The same distance issues apply. Hotels and Airbnbs here might run $120 to $250 per night. A good choice if you want a more local, walkable vibe, but still want to be in Dallas. Let's talk about Fort Worth. Stockyards area Fort Worth is technically a separate city, but it's part of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. The Stockyards area is the historic district with cowboy culture, Western shops, and twice daily cattle drives down the street. If you want the Texas cowboy experience, and this is what a lot of international visitors picture when they think of Texas, Fort Worth delivers. You've got honky-tonk bars, steakhouses, rodeos, it's an authentic Western atmosphere. Fort Worth is about 15 miles from AT&T Stadium, so you're a bit closer than if you stay in Dallas. Hotels in the Stockyards area run about $100 to $200 per night. It's a good choice if you want the cultural Texas experience and you're okay being outside the Dallas urban core. Arlington area near the stadium. Arlington is the city where AT&T Stadium is located. If you stay here, you can walk to the stadium. That's the big advantage. But here's the reality. Arlington is a suburban city built around entertainment venues. You've got AT&T Stadium, Global Life Field, that's where the Texas Rangers play baseball, and Six Flags Over Texas, that's the theme park, and Hurricane Harbor, which is the water park. If you have kids who want theme parks, Arlington is great for that. What Arlington doesn't have is much in the way of walkable neighborhoods, great restaurants, or nightlife. It's very car dependent and suburban. Hotels near the stadium run about $120 to $200 per night. It's a good choice if you want to walk to the match and you're planning to hit the theme parks. Not the best choice if you want authentic Texas culture or urban energy. All right, quick thing. I know I'm covering a lot here, but I'm just scratching the surface on Dallas. Over the next few weeks, I'm planning on releasing deeper dives on this area. It will include specific neighborhood breakdowns, AT&T Stadium seating and access strategies, where to eat, all of it. If you're coming to Dallas for the tournament, whether you've already got your tickets or you're still deciding, subscribe so you can catch those when they drop. You're going to want that detail once you know you're coming here. Also, I put together a complete PDF guide that's going to make this entire trip easier, from planning to when you're actually in Dallas. When you're planning, here's what you're going to get. Hotel comparisons by area so you can pick the right spot. Rental car versus Uber cost breakdowns. Parking strategy for the stadium. And when you're in Dallas, it'll give you restaurant recommendations with addresses, day trip ideas to Fort Worth, emergency contacts, everything you need in your pocket. Download it to your phone or print it out. It's available in Spanish, French, German, Portuguese, Arabic, Japanese, Mandarin, Korean, and English. And it's in the pinned comment. Be sure you grab it now. You'll use it while you're booking your trip and then every day while you're in Dallas. So let's talk about AT&T Stadium. This is one of the most impressive sports venues on the planet. Let me give you what you need to know. Here are the basics. AT&T Stadium holds over 80,000 people and it can expand to over 100,000 people for special events. It's the home of the Dallas Cowboys, and Jerry Jones, the owner, built this place to be a spectacle. The stadium has a retractable roof, which is good news because we'll talk about the Texas heat in a minute. It's air conditioned when the roof is closed. There's a massive high-definition video board that hangs over the field. It's the size of a basketball court and it's mesmerizing. For the 2026 tournament, AT&T Stadium is hosting 9 matches. This is one of the key venues for the whole tournament. Getting to the stadium, here's how you do it. And we talked about this a little bit already, but let me give you the match day specifics. If you're driving, plan to arrive at least 3 hours before kickoff, maybe even 4 hours if you want to tailgate and soak up the atmosphere. Parking, and this is important. Official parking at AT&T Stadium for Cowboys games ranges from $75 to $100 or more, depending on how close you are. For the World Cup, expect those prices to be even higher, probably $100 to $150, maybe more. The official lots are run by the stadium and they're safe and organized. You can sometimes pre-purchase parking passes online, and I'd recommend doing that if possible. It guarantees you a spot and you know the price up front. The alternative is what locals call pirate parking. People who live near the stadium or own empty lots will charge you to park on their property. This can be cheaper, maybe $50 to $75, but it's hit or miss. Some are legit, some are scams. If you go this route, take a photo of where you parked and make sure you know how to get back to your car. Here's my advice. Pay for official parking or arrive early, 4 or more hours ahead of time, to get into an official lot before they fill up. If you're taking an Uber, plan for it to be expensive and slow on match day. You might want to have your driver drop you off a mile or so from the stadium and walk the rest to avoid sitting in traffic. After the match, walk away from the stadium before calling your Uber. The pickup zones right outside will be chaos. Let's talk about the stadium experience. Once you're inside, AT&T Stadium is impressive. The air conditioning is a huge relief after the Texas heat. The concourses are wide, the bathrooms are modern, and there are plenty of concession stands. Food and drink are standard stadium prices. Think $12 to $18 for a burger or hot dog, $12 to $15 for a beer. You can find Tex-Mex, barbecue, typical American stadium food. It's all there. It's fine, but nothing special. The big video board is going to dominate your attention. Even if you're watching the match in person, you'll find yourself looking up at the screens because it's so massive and clear. Here's the bag policy. For the World Cup, expect a strict bag policy. Small, clear bags only. Probably 12 inches by 6 inches by 12 inches or smaller, similar to NFL rules. No backpacks, no large purses. Check the official FIFA and stadium guidelines before you go, but plan to travel light. Bring your essentials and nothing more. What to bring? Make sure you bring your tickets, a digital and a screenshot as a backup. You'll want ID, some cash, because not all vendors take a credit card. You'll want a portable phone charger, sunscreen if you're tailgating outside before the match, and a light jacket, because the AC inside can be cold. The stadium roof might be open or closed depending on the weather. If it's open, you're dealing with sun and heat. If it's closed, it's air conditioned and comfortable. After the match, don't just rush out. With 80,000 plus people all trying to leave, it's going to be gridlock. Hang back for 20 to 30 minutes, grab some food, let the initial surge clear. If you're parked, be patient. Traffic leaving the lots is slow. If you're getting an Uber, like I said before, walk away from the stadium, maybe 10 to 15 minutes before you call your ride. You'll save time and probably money on surge pricing. Let me give you the basics on getting around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Driving. If you rented a car, driving in Dallas is pretty straightforward. The highways are big and well marked. Traffic can get heavy during rush hour, which is 7 to 9 a.m. and 4 to 6 p.m., but it's nothing like New York or LA. Use GPS, Google Maps, or Waze. The distances are long. It might take you 30 to 45 minutes to get from one side of Dallas to the other, or from Dallas to Fort Worth. Parking is generally easy and cheap. Most hotels have free parking. Restaurants and shopping areas usually have big parking lots as well. Uber and Lyft. These work fine for getting around within Dallas or within Fort Worth. A typical ride costs across Dallas might be $15 to $25. Just be aware that distances are long, so even a short-looking trip on the map might be 20 to 30 minutes and cost more than you'd expect in a smaller city. Let's talk about public transit. The DART light rail is fine for getting around downtown Dallas and to a few suburbs, but it's limited and you can't really rely on it for most of your trip. Most tourists won't use it much. Let's talk about walking. You can walk around specific neighborhoods, downtown Dallas, uptown, the Fort Worth stockyards, but Dallas-Fort Worth as a whole is not a walking city. The blocks are long, the distances are far, and in June and July heat, walking more than a few blocks is absolutely miserable. Plan to drive or Uber between different areas. Let's talk about the Texas heat, because it's a real factor in June and July. Here's what you can expect. Dallas in June and July is hot and humid. We're talking highs of 95 to 105 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 35 to 40 degrees Celsius regularly. The humidity makes it feel even hotter. The sun is intense. If you're from Northern Europe or anywhere with mild summers, this is going to feel oppressive. The good news, everything is air conditioned. Your hotel, restaurants, stores, the stadium, everywhere you go inside will be cold. Some places overdo it with the AC, and you'll actually want a light jacket. The challenge is being outside, walking from parking lots to the stadium, waiting for Ubers, sightseeing during the day. You are going to sweat. Here's how to handle it. Drink plenty of water, way more than you normally would. Carry a water bottle and refill it constantly. Dehydration sneaks up on you in this heat. Wear light, breathable clothing as well. Hat and sunglasses for being outside. For sunscreen, you will burn in about 20 minutes if you're not careful. Plan your outdoor activities for morning or evening. If you want to walk around the Fort Worth stockyards or explore downtown Dallas on foot, do it before 11 a.m. or after 6 p.m. The middle of the day is brutal. For the match, if you're tailgating in the parking lot before kickoff, be sure to find shade. Bring or buy cold drinks. Don't overdo it with alcohol in the heat either. It dehydrates you even more. Once you're inside AT&T Stadium with the AC, you'll be fine, but that walk from the car to the entrance is going to be hot. Indoor to indoor strategy. Here's what you need to know. The way locals deal with Texas heat is you go from your air-conditioned car to an air-conditioned building. You minimize the time outside. Be sure to park as close as you can to wherever you're going. If you're getting dropped off by Uber, have them drop you right at the entrance. But don't try this at the stadium. Don't try to be tough and walk long distances in the heat. It's genuinely uncomfortable and potentially dangerous. Let's talk about food and what to do in Dallas and Fort Worth, because the food scene here is one of the highlights. Here's what to eat. Barbecue. This is Texas, as they say. You need to try Texas barbecue. Brisket is the signature item. It's beef that's been smoked for 12 to 16 hours until it's tender and flavorful. Ribs, sausage, pulled pork, it's all great. There are barbecue joints all over Dallas and Fort Worth. Some of the famous ones have long lines, but it's worth it. Expect to pay about $15 to $25 per person for a good barbecue meal. Tex-Mex. This is Americanized Mexican food and it's everywhere. We're talking tacos, fajitas, enchiladas, queso, which is melted cheese dip. It's delicious and affordable, about $12 to $20 per person for a sit-down meal. Texas steakhouses. Texas is cattle country. The steakhouses here are serious business. If you want a nice dinner, go to a steakhouse. Expect to pay $40 to $80 per person for a good steak dinner with sides and drinks. Here's where to eat in Dallas. You'll find good restaurants in uptown, downtown, and scattered throughout the suburbs. In Fort Worth, the Stockyards area has a bunch of touristy but fun restaurants. You can also find great spots in the Sundance Square area downtown. Arlington has chain restaurants mostly, nothing super special but functional. The Fort Worth Stockyards. If you have a free day and want to see the Texas cowboy experience, go to the Fort Worth Stockyards. It's a historic district with western shops, saloons, restaurants, and twice a day at 11:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. they do a cattle drive where longhorn cattle walk down the main street. It's touristy, but it's fun and it's what people picture when they think of Texas. Wear boots and a cowboy hat, eat some barbecue, and take pictures. The Stockyards are about 15 miles from AT&T Stadium and about 30 miles from downtown Dallas, so plan accordingly. Let's talk about tipping. Tipping in Dallas is the same as the rest of the U.S. 15 to 20% at restaurants, $1 to $2 per drink at bars. Some places add a service charge for large groups, so be sure to check your bill. Let's cover money and practical stuff quickly. The cost. Dallas is cheaper than major cities like New York or San Francisco, but it's not super cheap. Hotels during the tournament cost about $120 to $300 plus per night, depending on location and quality. For meals, you can eat fast food for $10 to $15, a sit-down meal for $20 to $40 per person, and a nice dinner for $50 to $80 per person. For Uber rides, it's going to be $15 to $50 depending on the distance, and more with surge pricing. A realistic daily budget is about $80 to $150 per person for moderate spending. That's on food, transportation, and activities. You can do it cheaper if you're careful, or spend way more if you're going to nice restaurants and bars. For credit cards and cash, credit cards work everywhere. Carry some cash for tips, food trucks, and small purchases, but you can get by mostly on card. AT&T ATMs are everywhere. Your bank will probably charge a foreign transaction fee, but it's usually the best exchange rate. The weather. We covered this, but just to repeat, June and July are hot and humid. Make sure you pack light clothing, sunscreen, and prepare for AC everywhere indoors. The emergency number is 911 and it works throughout the U.S. for police, fire, or medical emergencies. Dallas has great hospitals and medical care. If you need a doctor, ask your hotel for a recommendation. All right, quick reminder. This video is just the overview. I'm planning on releasing full deep dives on Dallas over the next few weeks, talking about neighborhood guides, AT&T Stadium breakdowns, where to eat, all that detail. Subscribe so you don't miss those, especially once you've got your tickets and you're planning those specifics. And grab that free PDF guide from the pinned comment. You'll use it while you're planning. It's got hotel comparisons, rental car versus Uber breakdowns, parking strategies, and then every day when you're in Dallas with restaurant addresses, day trip ideas, emergency contacts, all of it ready on your phone. It's available in Spanish, French, German, Portuguese, Arabic, Japanese, Mandarin, Korean, and English. So, I'm wishing you safe travels. Dallas in 2026 is going to be absolutely incredible, and I look forward to seeing you there.